I'm back here on Gregtech 6 today, and I had some questions about power generation, different power types. So I'm going to try to take you around and show you the different types of power and best ways to do them. The first thing you're going to have is your burning boxes. There's different varieties. You're probably going to make lead for your first one. This is for heat units, HU. See if I can spell and talk here. Like I said, you're going to have lead or bismuth will probably be the first one you make. And then once you can combine copper and tin or iron and nickel, you can work up to bronze or Ingvar. And then you have steel, chromium, and titanium, tungsten, steel. I've never gone above Ingvar personally. Also, after you end up needing more heat than what, say, an Ingvar or a steel can put out, you can also go to the solid, dense burning boxes rather than the regular burning boxes, which come in the same flavors, but they will put out I think it's double. Let's see, 64. No, it's 4 times. They'll put out 4 times the amount of heat as what the regular one of that flavor does. And due to that, or because of that, it will also burn up fuel 4 times quicker. Now, you can either light these with a flint and steel, or you can use the igniter once you have the proper materials to make one. That'll be how you heat your crucible in the beginning, and it'll be the way of making kinetic power, KU, through a steam engine. Steam engines also come in a variety of flavors. You have lead, tin alloy, bronze, brass, Ingvar, ironwood, steel, fiery steel, chromium, titanium, tungsten steel, tungsten steel. And then you have strong steam engines, which are the same thing. They will put out 4 times the amount of the regular. And then after that, once you get to electrical age, you have electric engines. Now, with these, they have different looking sides. Pull one of these off of here and place it over here. This is the input side. This is the powering side. So this is the side that you want facing either your kinetic pipes or your input for extra utility transfer nodes, the energy ones, which I have around here somewhere. Just got to remember where it was I put it. Oh, right here. It's basically like this side of these kind of engines, buildcraft or forestry engines. And then you'll see these little ports all around the sides, that is for waste distilled water. That's why I have this set up here with fluid pipes going to this distilled water drum. Now, if you use distilled water in your boiler rather than regular water, it won't calcify. Eventually, this will stop putting out steam because calcium will build up inside and not be able to output. So you'll have to just break it and replace it. That's all you got to do to fix the calcification. Or, like I said, use this distilled water to send it back in, which is what I'm doing with this here. As you see now, that distilled water drum is empty because it refilled this. Now you can use a screwdriver on the electrical ones. You cannot use it on these to change their power. If you look at this, it says the energy in is 53 steam a tick. The capacity is 1600. The energy out is 8 KU a tick, kinetic units a tick. And its capacity that it can hold is 16,000 KU. Now, each one of these flavors is a different amount of steam in and kinetic unit out, so you need to pick the one that works best for what you are wanting to power. When you get up to electrical age and you get to the LV, MV, HV electrical engines, you'll notice they look similar, except they have this port on the back, which is where your power goes to. It does not have the output for the distilled water because there's no steam going in, and it still has your power port on the front. So that goes to the machine where it needs to go, or your pipes. And these can be changed. It will input 34 electrical units, EU, and output 17. So you just click on that. It'll do from 2 input to 1 output up to 64 input and 32 output. So basically you are either underclocking or overclocking that engine depending on what you're needing it to do. And that is basically the KU. That is a push and pull type of power. Now, that's the only one that has a steam version, is the engine. If you need a motor, which is rotational units, RU, you need to get one of these electrical motors. And they come in various flavors depending on how much rotational engine you need for the machine that it's hooked up to. All of the electrical machines work off of these splitter cables. That is the way you turn them off. Gregtech 6 no longer uses a wood hammer to turn a machine off. The machine will run all the time if there's power going to the engine, motor, heater, whatever the case may be. So you need to cut the power to it to turn the machine off. See, if I turn this on right now, this machine starts working. There's nothing in it. It is just wasting power. So for all of your machines, you're going to want to give them a kill switch. You can either have a master kill switch with redstone running to them, or you can have one shut off for each motor or each machine. There are very few machines. As of right now, there's only one, which is the Electrolyzer, which takes electricity straight without converting it to KU, RU, or HU units. And I found out that if you run the power into a CESU, it will then power your machine and it won't kill your ears. I'm guessing that from the weird noise it made it was getting too much power through this line, because IC2 power cables are kind of crap. They're not like the old IC2 where you have to transformer them. So this one apparently is getting too much, because I had to take transformers out at one time because they were causing lag because they weren't working right. And when they got fixed, I never put them back in. So that's basically the best description of the different types of power units that I can give. There is one other kind of power unit, and that is what this uses, which is manual. You beating it through the sifter, which I consider a power unit because it's something you have to do to make it work. If you didn't have it, you wouldn't use it. For a lot of the like heaters and boilers, you can make these sensors. There's one for the fluid contained inside. There are thermometers, which is what these are here, which tell you what the power is, or what the heat is inside the crucible. You can change them with a screwdriver to be a different calculation. This one tells it how much it can hold in power. This one is how much it currently has. This is greater than that amount. This is equal to that amount, less than that amount, and that is the target of the crucible itself. And you just do that with the screwdriver on the front. And then that other one that was just up there is a percentage of. It will actually send out redstone in levels depending on what the power is at the time. I have two set up on this one. This one tells me what the heat currently is in here. This one sends out a redstone signal for whatever power or whatever temperature I have it set at. So if I took this down to there and turned off my switch, it should put out until this here gets up to the 347, and then you see the redstone turns on, so it will stop this heater from sending more into it. So if you wanted to automate this with a hopper on top, that's a good way to do it, but you wouldn't need this second one. This second one is for manual, so I'm not sitting here wondering if it's about there. And if you want to change the sensing side of this, you use a monkey wrench on it. Going to the bottom like that will tell it to sense the block below it. You can do left, right, top, and back. That's why this one is on the back and this one is on top. Also, for a lot of people, they've been wondering about how to automate these. You use a monkey wrench on the mold. That'll change the input to on or off. Put a hopper underneath. It'll automatically pull it out once it's cold. And you can put it into a chest or whatever. And that'll automate how it comes out. You can put a hopper on top, which will automatically drop your dust or whatever into it. So then if you wanted to, you could have one set up for varying degrees of power, or one for every different kind of material that you use, and just have it come from your macerator, split into the different hoppers, and have them redstone signaled like this to automatically shut themselves off. There's lots of different variations of ways to do it. I like to do it manually. That's why it's set up that way. This is the igniter I was telling you about. It goes underneath your burning box, and when you apply a redstone signal to the splitter, it will send a pulse of power into it, which will ignite this, saving you on the flint and steel that you need to run it. This is the liquid sensor I was telling you about. This senses how much liquid is inside this at the time, telling me if that is full or not of water, because you never want to let them either overheat or take heat when they're dry. If there's no water in here and you start this fire, you will blow this up. If you let this gauge get to the red, you will blow this up and it will make a nice little mess. I've blown up about 4 of these trying to use steel with Buildcraft Gold fluid pipes, and the steel was not, or the Buildcraft Gold fluid pipes did not have enough throughput for the amount of steam that it was making, and it blew up. And I blew up another one because my CESU or MFE had gotten full at the time, and I was off messing with my crucible. So then it built up too much steam and it blew up. So you really want to watch that when you're doing steam. Make sure that the steam can get out of the boiler as soon as possible. Now, I've also had some questions about how to get the carbon to make the steel in the beginning. That is from the dark ash of burning coal or coal coke in a burning box. You get small or tiny pieces of dark ash, which are made of carbon. If you would electrolyze it, you would get carbon from it. Let me see if I can find some. That's magnetite. There's a small. The small come from the coal coke, if I remember correctly, and the tiny will come from the coal, and that's how you will get your carbon for your steel. You can also use graphite, which is carbon also, but you have to get it up to 2000 K to melt it, which isn't a problem because the ceramic can handle up to 2500 before it will melt down. So that's how you get your steel in the beginning. Once you get an electrolyzer, you can then electrolyze a lot of different materials, diamond dust, um, dark ash, regular ash, which regular ash comes from burning charcoal. You cannot get carbon out of ash without electrolyzing it, so you can't use that in the beginning. You have to use coal or coal coke. Lignite coal will do it as well. So I hope that helps. If anybody has any questions, let me know, and I'll either answer it in the comments or try to put an annotation on this video to tell anybody else that may have the same question. And if there's anything else that you guys are questioning right now, let me know, and I'll be glad to come on and give it my best shot to give you a good answer. So, hope you enjoyed. Hope it helps you out. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. See ya.